Hey guys, welcome back. We'll be here with great trades. Today I'm going to talk about Ttnp, Novn, Ogen, and BNGO and VTGN. Okay, so these are just a lot of small bios that have been in play. I have them as momentum plays right now. Of course, with any penny stock, you always have to be super cautious about huge run-ups that may cause the company to do a public offering, to which is usually for less than the stock's current value. It's a great way for them to make a lot of money really quickly. So, with that being said, all these plays are to be taken with precaution. Use your own discretion, your own level of risk, and I'm going to break down some of these as to why I personally have chosen them as momentum plays and what we are looking at. So, first things first, TTNP. The reason why I found this one as a momentum play is because right back in here, we started getting confirmation of the reversal, which is right at this moment here, which is actually an indicator in the pre-market hours. We knew that it was on a support line of 2702, consolidating and building. This is a 1 hour chart. And then, as you can see, as about 3 days, which this was just Thursday leading into Friday, it had a massive run up from, essentially 27.5 cents all the way into basically 36 cents. And you can see how these support and resistance lines act. This is a Fibonacci retracement on a 4 hour chart. So I'm looking at 1 hour, but these are based off a 4 hour chart. The smaller scale you use for support and resistance, the weaker the support and resistance actually is. So I don't go any less than 4 hours. Because they tend not to work as well anyway, so it'd be really no point in adding those. So as this continues up, you can see that in the stochastic slow down here at the bottom, that we actually haven't even gone up above this overbought line, and we're just continuing to consolidate. We get that finally up, and boom, the momentum starts. As the momentum starts, what does that mean? It means that we are above 25 on the ADXR, and we are just increasing on MACD momentum and the stochastic. It's okay that it gets overbought and oversold, just kind of does that zigzag pattern. Then when we actually reach this bottom, that's actually technically the downtrend start. However, when you're in momentum, then it can be kind of ignored and you get a continuation. So what we're actually looking for is consolidation. With a big run up like this is not scary. The reason why is because you just had this huge run up. To come back halfway down it is very common, and what you should see is a consolidation pattern. All right, if the momentum is to continue, then you'll just see it bounce off 50-day moving average, which is this yellow line moving up as it approaches this through, next week. It's going to be somewhere in here, and we should see it kind of consolidate around that and then start working itself up again. So how do we know if we're still in a nice momentum play? Well, we have to look at our scales. This is a 1 hour scale. We're going to go up to a daily scale. The daily scale, every single thing is pointing up, as well as stochastic slow is not over bought. So we still have movement here to play. Your ADXR is above 25, and we can even go up a scale farther to say the weekly is nicely increasing. The only concern here is that we're getting blocked out by this 50-day moving average on the weekly as resistance. Okay, but once you have enough momentum, you can break through these resistance lines. It has a very low stochastic, a nice up momentum, and MACD is increasing. So as we approach next week, I would not be surprised to see it start breaking through that 50-day, the 50 SMA on the weekly chart, meaning we can start pushing upwards in the 46 to 54 cent range and beyond, because at that point there is no more resistance. If we go up again, the 50 SMA line on the monthly is up at $9. So that means that the only other resistance is going to be within the range of these individual tickers, so it shouldn't be that crazy to see a big move into on the weekly chart something in the range of 76 cents, $1.12. I wouldn't be surprised to see that range pull back, especially with these big gaps right here to be filled. I think the toughest spot would be somewhere in the dollar range. I'm not saying that's going to happen next week specifically. I'm saying in this term of momentum, that is a real possibility. Okay, but don't be surprised if we have trouble moving through these lower resistance levels. I think once we get solid above 46 and 54, then we're kind of breezing up to those 70 and 80 and 90 ranges. All right, let's move on. We'll go ahead and go over to NOVN. So NOVN on the weekly is actually down. It doesn't have the same buildup as TTNP, but on the daily, it is strongly suggesting a nice momentum play, which in turn would start turning the weekly positive in a positive direction. I love this slow, steady buildup. That's exactly what you want to see in momentum plays. You can see this nice little cup, and it's building. A breakout could be imminent on this at any moment. We've already gotten above this 43. 0.4376, 57 is in my next line of sight. And remember, this is yellow, our 4-hour chart resistance levels. So they're not as strong as these daily resistance levels, which is this $4. So I would, again, not be surprised to start seeing this work itself up to $1 as well. But again, penny stocks are known for public offerings. Be weary of that. Take your profits when you see a nice gain, and then be very selective on what your plan is after that. So on the hourly chart, you can see the same thing. We have this nice run up, and I'm sorry about that. We have a nice run up, and we're using the 50 as support. That's exactly what you want to see for it to bounce off, build back up, and continue on. So you can see though, we are in this down. When all these are going down, it's consolidation. So down, 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 we're consolidating, which means we bounce and we come up and we go down and we go up and we start working ourselves back up because we're in momentum. So again, that's with that. So weekly is not as strong. The daily has great build up. The hourly, we are currently entering consolidation, obviously consolidating on the downside right now, looking for this 50 to act as strong support. We're going to go into OGEN. All right, again, look at this hourly. Nice cupping. So we had this huge breakout a couple weeks ago, and then we've been down and down and down. But this is, when you have these big breakouts, this is not to be a big surprise to get this. And now we've started to curl back around and build our momentum up. On the hourly chart, we're building up nicely. It's not quite there, so to see a pullback is not going to be uncommon, because until you gain momentum, you're technically kind of stuck in this consolidation range. And as you're separating the 50 from this 9, it's going to want to come back and touch it. You'll hopefully see that, early next week, and then a continuation throughout the week. Same concept here. This is now the daily chart on it. It's been working up, working up. Now it's got this dip. We are stuck under the 9 as resistance, but we've been building momentum on the daily chart, so we should be able to break above this 9 and then start heading towards 61 and then 70 and so on as we continue. Let's see if the weekly wants to allow us to keep going up. The weekly is strong, but it's been in momentum for quite some time. So if it decides to start breaking down, what that is going to mean is that you may see like a daily break, maybe to 61, maybe a little bit higher, but most likely it's going to have to come down, consolidate, and build back up, because unless this can continue, it won't have the strength to keep pushing upwards consistently. You would actually have to wait weeks, and remember it's weekly, you'd have to wait weeks for consolidation and then build back up for the next run up. But There's no reason why this can't push a little bit harder. It is already up here, but with these two lines so close together, typically you might see a downward consolidation. And it doesn't mean this will necessarily go down, down, down. It'll probably stay above 53 and consolidate in that range. But it does look to be solid on the 1 hour and daily. So I'd like to see at least it push for 61, maybe 70, but that would be my level of, possibly taking profits here because the weekly momentum is starting to slow down. So as it slows down, it means it's not going to have the same push to keep continuing. So that's what I see here. And VTGN. Alright, so we're on the daily chart right now on VTGN. You can see a nice solid. We've crossed over 25, which means we are gaining momentum. Everything is super low on the rest of them, which means we have plenty of room to run. We are stuck kind of in this, well, as you see, it's up above 48 now, but this 46 range was just giving us so much trouble. But we want to start seeing it push up to 55. That's the resistance. 57 is the daily resistance. That's why it's red. And on the Fibonacci, that's why in this range it's probably really tough, which you can see it's been stopped out here before. But that's what consolidation and momentum does, is it keeps building towards that a little bit at a time, and then it gets those massive breakouts. So you can see we have been working strongly to this goal to stay above this line and then keep moving forward. On the hourly chart, we did pretty good. We started building up. We're just building momentum back. This is the way I like to see it. It's beautiful. We are getting kind of on that high side here, but as long as you're above 50 day, you can continue riding this up and down, and it's not really that big of a deal. If you're below the 50 moving average, then that would be not great. It's really weak, but if it's above, then that is okay to play up here and it's strong. The weekly scale is it's kind of bottomed out and curling back over, which means there's going to be a lot of resistance in the coming weeks for this 64-cent range. So I wouldn't be surprised to see 63 cents, 64 cents be really tough to break through. It's not that it can't, but it doesn't have the momentum week after week yet to do it. So my guess is we'll see very soon a push, nice push up. We'll get rejected here. We'll have to consolidate and rebuild and try and push again. So in the short term, I'd be looking for something in the 63-cent range to sell and take my profit there. But in the long term, as long as it can build up and bounce and keep gaining momentum on the weekly, week after week, you could possibly start seeing these gains building up through. But if you look at this scale on a weekly, you could see ups and downs all the way through end of this year into next year. But we'll see how it goes as these lines approach and how much momentum we've gained, because you can see that it can burst out very strongly in the right setting. So that's VTGN. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please subscribe. I've also got a series started, Tech Mode Trading. Episode 1 is already out. I'm going to show you exactly how I build my charts, how I build my resistances, how do you break through the mental barriers. This is going to be a full-fledged course, completely free, like no other course. You go to Zip Trader, you go to Ricky, and these guys have $2.99 courses, $1.99 courses, $3.99 courses. I'm giving mine out. I'm building it for you guys completely free. So I hope you enjoy. Please subscribe and like my videos so we can keep doing this for you. And I'll see you guys on the next one.